2.
Hi, welcome to the show. This is Sheryl McCutcheon, Title I Parent Coordinator with Spencer Elementary School. Today I'm here with Debbie Fox, who is currently the Roane County Parent Involvement Coordinator of the Title I schools. She is also a veteran of 35 years teaching experience, and 8 of those have been as a Title I teacher. So Debbie, welcome to the show. Today we're going to talk a little bit about parent involvement and what exactly that means and what you can do for your child. Debbie, what exactly does parent involvement mean from the school perspective? I know as a parent coordinator, I see a lot of pieces of paper that have parent involvement and written on it. I hear a lot of things about parent involvement. So tell me briefly what it means.
Well, it can mean lots of things. It could be a parent coming into the school and helping with the classroom or running papers. It can be just encouraging your child from home, just as long as you're involved in your child's education.
All right, okay. And why is parent involvement so important? What are some of the benefits we see from parent involvement?
Well, parents are your child's first teachers, so they've started teaching long before they even started to school. So they need to continue that involvement once the child goes to school. It doesn't just mean go and drop your kid off. You're still involved.
I'm done, see ya.
It's not that way at all. So, the research tells us parent involvement makes a big difference in the child's education. So whenever you're more involved and you, support the school, support your child, and just have expectations for your child, that's just being involved with whatever their child is doing in school. Just make it clear, just expect the child to do what they're supposed to do and just keep checking up on them.
Okay, so the higher expectations you set, the child will hopefully rise. Okay.
Usually they do.
Okay, good. What kind of difference have you seen in a child who has very involved parents compared to maybe a kid that doesn't have very involved parents?
Well, usually the child whose parents are involved, they're more tuned into their schoolwork, usually better behaved, usually achieve better. When they know there's that expectation, parents are going to be expecting that they bring home decent grades, they do their homework. Usually that child does better in school than a parent who's not involved at all.
All right, so the parent or the child doesn't want to bring home a D and mom and dad look at the test and say, hey, what's going on here?
Most children want to please their parents.
Okay, good. Now, for parents who work full-time, and a lot of parents in Roane County have to drive somewhere else, Charleston or Parkersburg, for their full-time job. How can those parents be more involved with their kids?
I think the first thing they should do is get a live grades account. At the beginning of the year, the teachers send home your account number for your child. If you've misplaced that and you don't have an account yet, just contact the child's teacher and you can get that number again. But whenever you're on live grades, you can check. The teacher puts the grades in immediately whenever the child takes a paper or a test, anything for a grade, and whenever the teacher enters that grade, you can see it immediately on live grades. So you can always know whether it's participation grade, whether it's a grade for an activity, a test, a quiz. Also, there's messaging there, so you can send a message to your child's teacher, like an email, and they'll usually, my experience has been, they'll get right back to you. So you can keep that constant communication, even if you're not able to get into the child's school.
And if you don't want to call and bother the teacher while they're probably having class, you can email them and they can get back to you at their convenience.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, if a parent is only able to attend one thing during the school year, what's their best option? Should it be a hot chocolate, open house, a parent-teacher conference? What's your opinion on that?
Well, the more you do, the better, but I think hot chocolate is one of my favorites just because you get to see the child in their classroom, interacting with their friends and their peers. You see where the child sits and you sort of have a better perspective on how the child is in their classroom.
Okay.
Most children also keep data notebooks and they'll be in their desk so the parent can see the data notebook. You can informally talk to the teacher during hot chocolate, and if you want to set up a conference, you can always set that time up for later. But you get to see a lot of different things in hot chocolate.
Okay, so you kind of get to see your child in the environment that they're in all day long.
And I think you might get a better perspective on what they're doing that way.
Good, okay. I know hot chocolate's one of my favorite things to go to, too. In your opinion, how much of a difference have you seen with a child who maybe was initially struggling with school and then maybe a parent became more involved? Is there a big difference between a child who doesn't have a lot of parent involvement and once a parent becomes involved? How much of a difference is there?
For most of the time, yes, you see a big difference. And I can remember one child I had in kindergarten one time was really struggling with their ABCs. The child happened to get sick and had to spend a lot of time at home. And the parent just stayed right by the child. And they went over the ABCs just every day, just a few minutes, maybe later in the day went over them again. Whenever that child came back after 2 weeks, they knew all their letters. I mean, just that little bit of time.
So just in a few minutes a day.
Yeah.
Just made a huge difference.
But, read with your child, either to them or with them. Have them read something to you or read to them for 15, 20 minutes. All the children in this county have a Nikki folder. They're given one at the beginning of the year, which is a folder that the child carries back and forth to school. And the teachers send papers home with that and communication. And you can also send things back to the teacher in that Nikki
blue folder.
Yeah, the blue
okay.
folder.
I didn't know it was called a Nikki folder.
And so that's always good. Check your child's backpack.
Okay.
Check in that folder. There's a lot of information comes home that you can know what's going on in the schools. You run lots of papers off and send home.
Oh, yeah.
So if the parents will just check that backpack, there's a lot of things they'll find out in there.
Well, and there's if they have a question, they can always just put a piece of paper with a note to their teacher, and I'm sure the teacher would get back to them pretty quickly.
Usually most of those folders they have, one side says
keep it home,
and the other side says return to school.
Yep.
So if they'll just look in that and use that, it's a good communication.
Just simple few minutes a day could make a huge difference.
Sure.
Okay, as a parent, what advice do you have to other parents who want to become more involved? What's the first step? What's the average person need to know?
Well, like I said, if you get a live grades account, I think that's a big way to go.
Okay.
If you want to be personally involved in the school and come in and help, you need to check with the principal and get a parent volunteer training. The principals can provide that and tell you how to set up with that, because you always have to go through that before you can do anything in the school.
And then you have to get approved by the board, is that right?
You get approved by the board, which is not a big deal, but it's a formality that we have to go through. You don't, from research that I've read, as long as you don't even have to be physically in the school, but if you just support the school and the child and you make clear expectations to the child, that's a good way to be involved. But if you do want to be involved in the classroom and you have time to do that, I think a lot of times teachers have so much planning that they do. Don't just send a note and say, I want to do something, tell me what to do. Just sort of say, I'm available on Fridays. Do you have a bulletin board? I'd be glad to put that up for you. Or if you check with the school principal, a lot of times the libraries need extra help checking the books in or getting them out. If you want to do something like that, running papers off for the classroom. Check, but sort of be specific on what you're able to do or what you want to do.
Because I know the teachers are so busy that it's hard for them to come up with something right away. But if you're able to say, hey, I can pop popcorn on Fridays, just let me know the date, that's a huge help to them, because that's one more thing that they don't have to think about. Okay, any finishing thoughts or comments on parent involvement?
I know at the beginning of the year, the Title I teachers in all the schools sent out a compact. And the parents signed that at the beginning of the year saying, like promising ways they were going to be involved, just checking their child's backpack or doing a few things at night. They signed that paper, so made a commitment, so.
Time to follow through.
Follow through.
Okay. Well, Debbie, thanks for coming in and talking about parent involvement with me today. And I do have a few news updates. Just a reminder, there is no school on Monday, November 11th, due to the Veterans Day holiday. The second grade Kids Hot Chocolate is scheduled for November 15th, so please make plans to attend that if you have a student in second grade. Science fair projects are due on November 15th, and the science fair will be held on November 18th. Also, the next PTO meeting will be held on November 18th. The Roan General Read Aloud for first grade students will be on November 20th, so be sure to sign your child up for that. Thanks for watching today's show. This show has been hosted by A&M Digital Technologies.